You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official comedy club for kids podcast for all ages from to and everything in between. Oh, wow, it must be really annoying being a ghost, right? And it takes ages to say everything. Imagine just going to a shop as a ghost and asking if you can buy a cookie. Excuse me, can I buy a cookie, please? The shopkeeper would just say, no, because I can't even see you, you're a ghost, and you took so long to ask me, now I'm dead and also a ghost, and have to talk like this. And then because you're a ghost, you'd have to say, well, that took so long for you to say, now I'm dead again, and I'm a double ghost. And then the shopkeeper would have to say, well, that took so... Oh, hang on, this could take quite a while, couldn't it? Hello, I'm... Hang on, what's my Halloween name? Oh, I know. I'm Tiernan. Can you work out your spooky Halloween name? You just sort of change part of it to be a spooky name. So if your name is Tom, you'd be Tomstone. Or if your name's Claire, you'd be Claire Wolf. Linda, what's your Halloween name, Linda? Oh, wait, hang on. I know. It's Linda. Where is Linda? Who is Linda? Oh, maybe Linda's a ghost, which would explain a lot. I mean, how could she make coffee if every time she tried to do it, her hands passed through the cup? But then if she's a ghost, she might have at least spooked me at some point. She hasn't even bothered to do that. Ugh. Anyway, I'm Tiernan, and this is a Halloween special of Radio Nonsense. And I was trying to think what would be fun to do for a Halloween special, and I thought maybe I'd try and do something spooky, like have weird spooky noises in the background, like, woo! No, farting animals, not now. I'm trying to be spooky. Okay, I'll try again. Spooky noises like... No, sorry. We've got some llamas staying at the moment. They're very annoying. They keep spitting everywhere. They also don't do Halloween, but they do Hallamoween, which is like Halloween, except you just spit everywhere and you chew people's hair. It's horrible. Actually, it's really horrible. Llama Jeff and Llama Carol, please stop. I'm doing spooky noises for the podcast. Thank you. Right. So I'll do spooky noises like... That wasn't me. Linda, was that you doing the creaky noise, Linda? Very, very odd. Maybe it was just my knees and they're about to fall off or something like that. Okay, I'll try again. Spooky noises like... Oh dear. Okay, that is definitely not me and definitely not my knees, as they sound like this when I move them. Yeah, that's my knees. Okay, well, I'm a little bit scared now. What if it is some sort of terrifying ghoul or monster and it's come to get me for Halloween? I've got to think happy thoughts. That's what you have to do, isn't it? I've got to think happy thoughts. Well, luckily, I've got a happy thought right here that has been sent in by Anonymous, aged 9 farting gorillas. And they have sent in this here joke. Why was the paperclip scared of the needle? Because the needle had a sharp temper. Brilliant. Thank you, Anonymous. That is excellent. That is excellent. That's made me really laugh. And surely now I have laughed away whatever creepy creature is in Comedy Club for Kids HQ. Okay. Right, well, if you've got any ideas of how to get rid of spooky creatures, or you want to tell me a joke to cheer me up, help me laugh it away, or maybe you just want to ask a question on this show, or just do anything to keep me company while I'm a little bit spooked out, then please get your flapping cranky gargoyles, I'm sorry, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. And you can also come and see our live Comedy Club for Kids shows at comedyclubforkids.co.uk and grab one of our t-shirts or book at comedyclubforkids.store. Do you want a t-shirt, scary ghoul thingy? Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't speak scary ghoul chat. I'm going to work out what to do, but you get stuck in with our special Halloween importance bit, and I'm going to try not to wee myself in terror. We've got a very special guest this week, a surprise one, so listen to this.
Have it. I ain't going to get mixed up with no ghosts. What do you mean? When people stop walking and talking, I'm through with them.
Listeners, I'm really excited for this Halloween special to have a guest that I have to say I know nothing about. I was just given a number on a scroll, and it looked like the number was possibly written in blood. I'm not entirely sure, but I've called it, and I know. Well, someone's picked up. Hello.
Hello. I'm terribly sorry. I did not mean to disturb you. I actually wrote my message with the closest thing I had to hand, which was, I think you call it tomato ketchup.
Oh, wow. Right. That does make that's. I did wonder why it smelt so nice and made me want to eat some chips.
It is a problem. It is a problem. Sometimes I eat my own letters.
Yes, that could be quite an issue. And then, and then delivering that message is very tricky, obviously.
It is very tricky indeed.
Well, listen, it was a lovely, mysterious message. I think, maybe it wasn't meant to be mysterious, but quite a lot of the tomato ketchup was smudged by the time it got to me. So I only really got this number. So who are you? And welcome to Radio Nonsense.
Hello, my name is Tour Guide Dracula.
Wow, Tour Guide Dracula. So is that sort of Mr. Tour Guide Dracula? Is that your full name, or have you given me your job title there?
It is my job description, yes. You know, some people, I do not know if you are aware of Transylvanian history, which is why I am here as a tour guide of Transylvania.
Wow.
Of course. But in fact, the Dracula family is quite famous here. And in fact, I do not wish to brag, but I do have a cousin who is, something of an aristocrat.
Wow. Well, so we've sort of got royalty on the podcast this week.
Oh, no. Some of the Dracula family, one particular line, they are the aristocracy, the royalty, the counts, if you will. And some of us are merely tour guides, showing people the wonders of Transylvania.
Wow. And how does that feel, being in one of the other lines of the family? Is it okay? Do you feel a bit left out? Is a Christmas time sort of reunions a bit awkward?
Just a bit. We do not have a lot to talk about, and to be honest, showing people around the castle of my cousin Count Dracula is, it can get a little awkward. He treat me like staff occasionally, and I don't like that. It'll rub me the wrong way.
Yeah, I can see that's quite unfortunate. But I mean, obviously, you're good at your job. How long have you been a tour guide for?
Oh, I probably as a 10, as a 200 years now. Yes.
Wow, that is amazing. You must know every single bit of. Is it just the castle you do, or the grounds, or the area? What's your tour cover?
I take in many of the exciting regions around the Carpathian Mountains. For instance, are many farms, are very attractive and picturesque villages, and blood banks, of course.
Oh, of course. Is that what the area is famous for? I have to say, I've never visited, and you're really already making me, think maybe I should book a holiday.
Oh, you have to. It's a charming place. The blood banks are very useful as well. People of Transylvania are very kind people as a whole, and like to contribute to the blood banks on the basis that, people who have had accidents could really use that extra blood.
That's amazing. How does it work? Because, if I go to the bank, I put my card in the machine, and then out will come, say, a £10 note. Do you have to put your thing in the machine that just sort of squirts blood in your face? Because that sounds quite horrible.
That would be most unhygienic. No, 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 no. What happens is me or a member of my family will come and we will take the deposit from you via a useful receptacle, like, how you say, a neck.
Wow. Well, that sounds very futuristic, very advanced.
Oh yes, it is most advanced. We take it, in very hygienic way with our mouth.
Wow, that is fantastic. And are these open all day and all night? These blood banks?
Mostly at night, actually, which we find to be more convenient for people because people are either at school or at work most of the day, so they find it very convenient to come to the blood bank at night. And there, one of me and my many helpful family members will be there to help them make a deposit.
Wow, can I ask actually? Forgive me if I'm intruding. Is that where are you at the one of the blood banks now? Because when I'm speaking to you, it looks very, very dark. And it's daytime where I am, but it seems very, very dark where you are, and quite sort of almost quite small and claustrophobic.
Oh, it is. Well, I'm currently having one of these Capri Suns at this point in time, which is very nice. I did actually pick this up at the blood bank, but it is, I believe, cherry flavor.
Wow, that's what I did. It's a very dark red. I did wonder. It looks very tasty. Yeah.
Oh, it's most delicious. A lot of sugar, though. It is bad for my teeth. Have a look at those.
Wow.
Those are... Yes.
Wow, but I mean, they look very shiny and very sharp, actually. Yeah.
It's because I brush my teeth. I do understand. This is a children's podcast, so I want to make that quite clear to all of your listeners. Brush your teeth and your neck. Always brush your neck and teeth.
Wow, and is that do you brush after every meal? Is every time?
Oh yes, yeah. No, it leaves terrible stain on
Sure.
teeth. Cherry flavored Capri Sun.
Yes. Wow, and so are you in the bank now? Is what I was wondering, or are you at home?
Yes, there is considerable time difference, and it is night here. But I am in how you say supply closet.
Sure.
Supply closet. It is small supply closet,
Yes.
and there is only really room enough for me and 1, 2, 3, cherry flavored Capri Sun.
Wow. Well, it's so exciting getting to speak to you in a completely different place. Something I know absolutely nothing about. I suppose I should ask, what's the sort of highlights of the castle? Were I to come on a little visit, what would be the best bits that you would show? Show me on the tour. What's your favourite bit to introduce to people?
I mean, the absolute highlight of tour is torture chamber, of course, which is very, very scenic and again a lot to do and a very interactive exhibit.
Right,
I find people really like to get in and try all the tools or have them tried on them.
Wow, that sounds great. I love stuff like that where you sort of there's buttons to press and there's sort of displays and yeah, that's wonderful.
Oh, the buttons are excellent, and there's much room for many spikes. I think people really enjoy the spikes.
Right. And do you have sort of because I really like those tours where there's people in character, they pop out and they play some of the people you might see around the castle.
Oh no, we are all absolutely authentic people to the Carpathian Mountains. This is my culture is not your costume. We do not accept that.
Right, I'm so sorry. That's actually a very rude thing for me to say. I mean, I wasn't thinking about sort of translating. We've got ones over here where someone might dress like a Victorian and say, "Oh, I'm just milking the cows" or whatever they'll do, and it's like you were there.
Well, that is funny. Because I am, in fact, a Victorian. Having been here for 200 years, I remember Queen Victoria very well.
Wow.
Very nice neck she had.
Wow. I mean, that is amazing.
She's coming to the Christmas party coming up. Lovely lady.
How is she... Sorry, how is she coming to the Christmas... Didn't she die quite a long time ago?
Oh, no, reports of her death are quite exaggerated.
Wow, okay. Sure, I mean, I don't know why I'm questioning you. You're the tour guide. You know every bit of information. And it's why I'm very grateful we got you on the show, because I've had some... Now, let me check this, actually, because I haven't checked. Do you sort of celebrate Halloween in Transylvania? Is that something you do?
Oh, we have big time for Halloween. Oh, it is a great time. It is time when the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest. And so, in that sense, it's a great time for a big old knees up.
Right.
Am I using this term correctly? Knees up.
Yes. We sort of I'm assuming it's like we tend to put our own knees up. Is that what you do in Transylvania?
Yes, why not?
Yeah, sure. Okay, cool.
We tend to knees, feet. We start flapping our leathery wings, and just have a nice little knees up.
Wow. That's we don't. Yeah, I don't really have any leathery wings. That sounds fascinating. That's Yeah. Well, look, because I've had questions sent in by our listeners. This is a Halloween special episode, and I've got some Halloween questions specifically, and I think you are probably the most perfect person to answer them. As someone in Transylvania, you do a tour. Obviously, you know all of the information. And I'm guessing, obviously, you know about your family, which just sound very aristocratic, very impressive with the castles. Do you know much about sort of ghouls, ghosts, werewolves, goblins, things like that?
Know them? Intimately. These are some of my closest friends.
Oh, lovely. Well, look, how exciting. And listen, what do I call you? Do I call you tour guide? What's
a tour? Yes, tour guides. But you are friends, so Tour Guide Dracula. Whole thing is a bit formal.
It is a bit formal,
but
yeah.
You can't call me Tour.
Tour, right? Well, Tour. It's so lovely to meet. So I'm so grateful that you sent me this message in Catch. How did you find my address? Out of interest.
Oh, it was on a list of suckers. I mean, potential tour guide of people who may be tourists in the region of Transylvania.
Well, I'm glad. I'm definitely someone who'd be interested in it, especially after speaking to you. Well, listen, I do have to just do a little bit of admin because it's our podcast, and we have a lot of guests, and I ask them the same questions. We have to sort of get past them before I can ask you these questions from listeners, and I hope you don't mind. It's sort of a formality. But the first question, of course, I just wondered if you had, it's a Halloween special, I wonder if you had a spooky noise that you could make for us. This is an audio podcast, so our listeners do tend to hear it with their ears. They may also listen with their bums, their knees. We don't discriminate. It's Halloween, so possibly with their I don't know what they do for Halloween, with their pumpkins, with their ghostly legs, however they choose to listen.
Well, I'm not the spookiest of people, you understand.
Sure.
But I do believe this is supposed to be quite scary to some people, which is
wow.
And you sort of show the fangs and your claws if you should have them at the same time. You've got to go.
Yes, you're very good at that. And can I ask? Because that noise and is it kind of hiss? Is it a kind of what would you call it? A
Yes, hiss. I believe this is correct word for it. It is a hiss. Is at the back of the throat by the I don't know how your throat works, but blood collecting receptacles.
Right, sure. I think that's probably
what
really
really
just yeah. I think that's
you got to really engage that and go.
Yes, yeah. I think that's what I've got maybe behind the molars. I'm not sure. I don't really know how it works. And it's good, and because you did just look. It was amazing how your teeth sort of grew as you did it, which I've never really seen before. It's really impressive. I wish I could do that. And but is it like?
Oh, that's just gingivitis. That is years of too much Capri Sun.
That that's why you
really eroded my gums. Absolutely.
Yes.
You got to brush, kids.
Of
You
course.
really got to brush.
Of course. Well, I was going to say, is it something? Have you learnt this from cats? It's a very sort of, because it's quite a cat noise, isn't it? Is that where that noise has come from?
Oh yes, cats and other familiars like that absolutely make a great noise. They are, they are beasts that prey in the night for smaller, vulnerable prey, and a big fan. And they're very fluffy indeed.
Great. Well, it's a fantastic noise. Thank you for doing that for us. And the other question I have to ask you is, this podcast is it's family friendly. It's suitable for people of all ages you can possibly imagine, even sort of if you're 200 years old, you're like yourself, or 2,000 years old, or even just sort of 4. It's for everyone really. And I just have to make sure and check if there are any rude words you won't be saying because of that.
Well, I most certainly will not be saying garlic.
Wow.
At all. Garlic. I can barely say it, to be honest. It really makes me, you know, the small bulb.
Yes.
Which Italian people use in cooking.
Yes. So can I just check, because you said it in a very specific way that you said garlic. Is that what is it rude if I just say garlic? Right, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes my blood collectors stand on end. Very unpleasant.
Right, and is it just so garlic is really, but what about garlics? Is that bad?
Garlics.
Yeah. Right, sure,
it almost makes me think about actually licking garlic.
Sure.
And that would be very unpleasant.
Yes, that would. Okay, I understand. Onions, all right.
Oh, I love them.
Okay,
absolutely.
great.
No, French cooking, big fan. Italian cooking, not so much.
Right, sure. Okay, but it's interesting because you use a lot of ketchup, you use a lot of tomatoes, which they do use in Italian cooking.
Oh, English cooking, finest cuisine in the world.
Right, sure.
Absolutely, and you enjoy your fish occasionally with the chips, and those together, and a bit of salt, a bit of vinegar. It makes the English people most delicious indeed. Cultured and with a fine palate.
What's your favourite fish? Is it a sole? Do you like sole?
Soul. So I do not have soul.
Sure.
Myself, no.
Right. Well, just I promise I won't say garlic, or even garlic. Sorry. And hopefully you won't say it as well. I do. I'm not sure all our listeners will find that so rude, but I do appreciate that, and we won't say it for the rest of the show.
Thank you. I appreciate your appreciation.
Well, listen, Tour Guide Dracula, I feel very lucky to have you here. It was a nice surprise, and it's just really lovely when a guest sort of creeps up on you like that. And I've got 4 questions for you. So I guess we'll just sort of go for them one by one and see. Hopefully it'll be your area of expertise, which I assume is quite wide when it comes to Halloween. But we'll go through it and we'll see how you deal with it. So we've got question 1. And this is from Willow, aged 10. And I'll read this out to you as it's been written. But the question is, why do we carve pumpkins? Question mark, upside down question mark 4 times. Lots and lots of exclamation marks, upside down question marks, lots of normal question marks, upside down and the right way around question marks, exclamation marks, question marks, upside down question marks, exclamation marks.
Oh, this is a child who understands punctuation perfectly.
Yes,
I do appreciate that. I can see that. Pumpkins. I am. Well, you see, the thing about pumpkins is classically you carve scary face, and when you have made scary face, scary things do not come to your house.
Right.
So, for instance, if a I do not know if you have them in your country. A vampire, vampire
right,
were to come to your house, and he were to see terrifying, scary face you have made on pumpkin, or indeed charming diorama, which a lot of people are making on their pumpkins nowadays. We would find that most scary, and an evil spirit such as a vampire, ghost, ghoul, to take as example, they might not come into your house. So it is a useful survival technique.
So that actually a vampire. I don't think we have a vampire. I've never really heard of a vampire before. That's fascinating.
A vampire,
yes. They sound delightful. But they won't come in. Obviously, are they allergic to pumpkins? Is that what that is? Then is that?
No, it is not like garlic at all. No. It is the scariness of the face. So by all means, make the scariest face or charming diorama that you can make.
Right. So what happens if you put a nice face then? Like if you just put a little nice face on a pumpkin?
Well, a vampire might go, oh, what a nice face on the pumpkin. I wish to go into this person's house and I don't know, take a deposit from their neck.
Right, sure. So,
for the blood bank.
But what I suppose what I'm curious about, and maybe when I was asking, why is it pumpkins? Like, why can't you carve a scary face on a banana?
Well, it is harder to put a candle in a banana. I don't know if you've ever tried Tiernan.
No.
It is very difficult, to be quite honest. People used to, in olden days, in your country, they used to do it on turnips.
Right.
But the turnip is two things. It is smaller than a pumpkin, so you cannot get that candle inside, and they are harder to carve. It is the
Right.
pumpkin which makes the finest jack-o'-lantern.
But a watermelon would work, didn't it? You could probably get quite a good face on a watermelon.
I think you probably could, actually.
Yeah.
You know what? I just have never seen it. If you want to do that, you should knock yourself out and do it.
So you should knock yourself out and then. I just like to check listeners. Maybe don't do that without a grown-up supervising, but just.
I agree. Do not do that. And if you're gonna handle a knife, also look. Get an adult. Otherwise, if you cut your finger, you should better get to the blood bank really quick. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. I can see that. Well, so that's very interesting. So we carve pumpkins mainly because they can fit a candle in, but also because the scary face deters vampires. They sound so lovely. Vampires, I love it. Vampires are lovely. Yeah, it's just a fun word to say. And that's good. Whereas carving a face and banana probably quite difficult. Carving a face and watermelon might work. Carving a face where you carve a face in garlic, would that just be a bit funny, a bit silly? Sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I mean, I try to stay away from them as much as possible. But during the first aid class, which my cousin helpfully did for the entirety of our family, discussing that particular bulb vegetable, it is very difficult. Once again, I would not bother.
Sure,
trying.
so don't bother with garlic. Just don't bother at all. Stick with the pumpkin.
Don't bother. Don't keep it away.
Yeah,
keep it away.
Great. Well, hopefully that has answered Willow's very good question there. Thank you, Tour.
And well punctuated question.
Very well punctuated question. It's important, isn't it, to really show people how urgent that question is. We've got a second question here, and this is a question from Bella. And Bella she hasn't put her age actually, so she could be hundreds of years old, like yourself. We don't know. Yeah,
I tend to leave mine of most forms, to be honest.
Sure.
I'll let you know I've been doing this job for 200 years because we are friends, Tiernan.
Sure, yeah, of course.
We are friends.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that, and and I guess it's also tricky, isn't it, in that people see 200. Well, what am I going to get you for your birthday? Then you've probably got everything.
This is true. This is true. Although I only have small apartments, so ultimately I have to do a lot of clearing out.
Of course.
Every 50 years or so, I really have to just oh no, too much clutter. Time to take it to the second hand.
Yeah.
Or to the bring and buy sale.
Just you keep it's what brings you joy, isn't it? That's it. You got to get rid of everything else.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Marie Kondo your life.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you've got a very lovely, because it is very small, but you've got a very lovely sort of maybe it's just for Halloween, little skull candle or something in the background there. It looks very decorative.
Oh yes, it is. It keeps things nice and atmospheric.
Yes.
With this obvious, plastic.
Yes.
Skull.
Yes.
Not real skull at all.
No, that's what I thought.
It is
yeah.
charming Halloween paraphernalia from your Tesco's.
Yes, that's what. Yes, right. Of course, from our Tesco's. Yes, of course. Well, listen. Bella, who may or may not be 200 years old, she has asked, "What do you become after you die? Zombie, skeleton, ghost?" Now, I don't know if she's asking specifically what you become after you die, or what you become, and then what a zombie becomes after he dies, and what a skeleton becomes, and what a ghost. So I don't know which she's specifying. But what do you reckon?
Oh, well, those are all fine options, and between immortals, Bella, I should say zombie. It is quite icky, It is quite, a lot of things start to fall off you, and it is not so great. Also, not very popular at parties. Ghost, great, absolutely. It can be great for the first few times, and certainly, the jumping out and scaring people and going, ooh, great fun. But and walking through walls, that really scares people. But ultimately, you will find it a little, you cannot turn page of book, you cannot eat anything. It is, no. And skeleton, well, I will say most people do become skeletons. That is fine. And you know what? It's a nice place to live. You got one in your body all the time, and it's like an old friend. Quite frankly, I've still got mine after all these years. But to be honest, the absolute expert in this opinion, it is become vampire.
Right.
Because a vampire, for a start, you can eat, what you like. Mostly, it's mostly just cherry flavored Capri Sun and ketchup.
Course, yeah.
But you can also you live for a long time, and you do get invited to parties. You most certainly get invited to parties. Everyone thinks you are very fashionable. Everyone thinks you are very, very attractive. I think you can turn into bat and fly above them, half knees up, with your nice long leathery wings. Highly recommend being vampire.
Right. So is that what you would you do? I was going to say, is that what you'd opt for? Because I'm guessing these are sort of things we've all got to think about. You'd probably prefer vampire rather than a skeleton.
That is the decision that I would make.
Yes, sure.
Personally.
Of course. Wow, that's good. Because I also wonder at skeleton. I always think probably a bit cold in the winter to be a skeleton.
No meat on their bones.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is another essential problem with it. And again, you're in a coffin, and it's hard to get out.
Yeah.
It's hard to get out. Except unless you're one of those ones that comes out as charming Halloween paraphernalia and goes, ooh,
of course,
and then closes it back itself inside.
Yeah, it probably goes back in because it's cold. That's normally what they do. They back in. Yeah, where it's snug and warm. That makes sense. And Ghost, I've always just as a side, because I always wondered with Ghost that they looked kind of like they were wearing a sheet on their head, because I always assumed they were just stuck in their duvet covers, and that's why they're always going, because I've had that before, and it's been terrifying.
Of course, it is best way to turn out duvet cover. A ghost taught me this, actually.
Right.
You have to get yourself in the inside-out duvet cover, and then grab with your hands the inside of the duvet and then shake it.
Yes.
And shake it and shake it and shake
Yes.
it. And that is the only sensible way to do it on your own.
Right.
And that I recommend that to, if that's from the ghosts to the skeletons. Get inside that duvet. Winter is coming. You want to be warm.
That is a great tip. That is a great tip. And and I also just think I've always sort of, I like zombies, but they're always like brains, and then you show them where like a library is, or why don't you go to university? They're not interested.
No, you try and say, go to the theater, get some cultural capital.
Yeah.
But they are not interested in fine European cinema. They are not interested in learning anything about anything. No, it's all just brains, brains that.
It's really boring. Really one note, So, well, I mean that's a great. So you'd be a wampo. What would you recommend I go for? Do you think what's a good idea for me?
Oh, vampire every time.
Vampire every
Tiernan.
time. Well, I'll look into it.
You should come to Transylvania, and we will show you what the vampire lifestyle is like. It is part of the tour, I can assure you, and definitely the one thing you'll take away with you and spread to the rest of your countrymen.
Wow, it sounds great. Thank you. What a lovely invitation that is. It's so nice talking to you. And we've got two more questions. I hope that's okay. And the next one comes from Anonymous, who is 9 farting gorillas years old. Which is yes, yeah. It's there's a lot of responsibility at that age.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It is. Yes.
Yes.
I got nothing. I've never come across that particular way of marking time.
Yes.
But again, amongst immortals, one must amuse oneself.
Yes, and it's also tricky because, gorillas can fart of different lengths. So they've obviously, I'm assuming 9 farting gorillas years old. These are some gorillas with real digestive issues who...
Yes.
Yeah.
Farting for years on end. And never once following through. That is impressive, to be honest.
Well, that's it. So, you've really got to... This person is obviously very sensible and very grown up, and probably old beyond their years. And Anonymous, again, not sure. A bit like your name. I'm not sure if that's just a first name or two.
Are you sure it's not first initial A and then surname Anonymous?
Yeah, it might be. It might also be Anony, like mouse. They could be a mouse. And
Anonymous is just who likes Elizabethan drama, going, hey, nonny.
Well, exactly.
Like a little mouse.
I'm sure you've met many of those mice in your time, so it's very possible. And Anonymous, so this is a great question, and I hope you can help with this. What does a witch fart look like?
Oh, what does a witch fart look like? Oh, well, once again, it is quite difficult for witches, especially if they have turned up to a Dracula family party, and we have served beans for our guests. It is quite hard for a witch to cover up the fact that they have, in fact, broken the wind.
Right.
Because once they have broken the wind, it forms a purple, gaseous, sparkly cloud.
Wow.
Which is a dead giveaway, is what it is.
Wow, that sounds horrendous, because I'd have thought, witches often make a stinky brew, don't they? That's one of the things they do.
They do.
They put all sorts of horrible things, the eyes of newts and bums of frogs or whatever it is. I'd assume it's hideous.
No, absolutely, and they are often trying their own brews, and that will lead to a lot of digestive difficulties.
Yes. Does it make I mean, you sort of describe it. It looks like sort of purple kind of creature. Does it make any particular noise?
When it starts to talk, the purple sparkly cloud, it is. We try to ignore it. Some of them are quite interesting company, though. So if they do turn up at your party or in a lift, where it is hard to disguise the fact that the witch has broken wind, then you best just get used to it. To be honest, it is witch's problem. Sort of, and after 18 years, they can send it away to university.
Right.
Once they can send it off to school, and sort of some of these farts live very pleasant lives.
That's lovely to hear. It must be quite embarrassing for a witch if say your fart is more interesting than you are, and maybe you get asked to leave the party, but the fart gets invited to stay.
That is mortifying.
Yes,
is what
yeah.
it is.
I can bet it is. That is awful. Well, that's very useful information. Can I ask if you don't want it to stick around for 18 years? Is it, some people when they fart, it's good to open a window, light a candle. Is there anything you can do to get rid of a witch fart?
Well, they often say, if you love something, set it free. And that is definitely something you can do. Open a skylight, or at the very least, put on a Glade air freshener, or light a candle or something.
Sure.
And witches have a lot of candles hanging around.
Yes, I bet.
That's quite useful.
Yeah, I do wonder. I mean, the way you describe it, I wonder if you can almost just call it a taxi, possibly, and send it.
Oh yes, yeah. And they'll find their way. Hot air rises, as does purple sparkly clouds.
Of course. Well, that's really useful information. Thank you, and hopefully, Anonymous will they're obviously very wise at 9 farting gorillas old, but hopefully that sort of wisdom is what they need and get them out of some tricky situations stuck at a party talking to a witch fart. So good, thank you very much. And so listen, we got one last question, which this has come from Chrissy the sheep, who I believe is is a sheep. It's fine. Whoever wants to listen to this podcast is able to listen to this podcast. That's fine.
Super intelligent sheep, sparkly purple clouds. Anyone is welcome. Surely,
exactly.
Comedy club for kids. Nonsense cast.
Absolutely. And this question, we've slightly covered this before, but maybe we can get a bit more depth on it. She has asked, why are ghosts not called random floaty things? Because that's what they basically are.
It is very ambiguous. As we've discussed, random floaty things can cover a multitude of strange creatures. Floating purple witch farts, ghosts, of course. Even me when I'm having a knees up and I've started flapping in the air and I'm floating on a nice warm breeze.
Wow.
There are plenty of floaty things out there.
Sure, so you've got to be able to differentiate which ones are the ghosts.
You got to know, absolutely, which kind of floaty thing, because someone might get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
Oh no, what's that up there? It is a random floaty thing. Even when it is Superman, people make sure to ask the right question. Is it a bird? No, it is not a bird. Is it a plane? No, that does not look anything like a plane. So once those two options have been exhausted, it's probably Superman, or a witch fart, or indeed a ghost.
Yeah.
There are many things which could be up there.
I always think that they don't ask enough questions. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it a ghost? Is it a witch fart? Is it, is it...
You've got to carry your checklist on you at all times to work out. Is it Superman? Actually, it's not Superman this time. I shall not be ticking the box for that. No. I shall be saying no. No, that is not Superman.
It's-
Is it one of the Draculas going? Well, if it has not made that sound, it's probably not the Dracula floating
Yes.
along, having his knees up
Well, exactly.
with his long leathery wings.
Exactly. I mean, it's so important to have this check. And, I wonder as well, it's probably worth checking, do ghosts like being called ghosts? Or is it better to call...
Well, you should probably learn their name, to be
Okay.
honest. A ghost, ask her, say, I'm terribly sorry. So if you're having a little seance, you say, is there anybody there? And there you go, it's a ghost. Well, that's slightly rude. What is your name? Welcome to this house. And then they say, actually, I've lived in this house a bit longer than you did. I've been living here a long time. Would you please stop touching my stuff? And you say, oh, I'm terribly sorry. I did not realize that. And then you can open the conversation. You can open the conversation
nice.
at that point.
That's really nice. Really, what sensible answers you had. I can see that you're a tour guide because you've got all this knowledge, all this information. And I think it's probably only fair, I've asked you the questions I need to ask, but I think it's only fair probably to allow you to advertise your tour on this show as a sort of thank you. Is there anything, is there any way you'd like to sort of entice listeners to go? What can they be in for if they come along?
Oh, well, if they come to Transylvania, you come off plane, and you go to the nearest tavern at night, and you wait for night to fall, and at that point, you just go out into the town square and just hang around for a bit, and one of the many tour guides will be around. We might just pop around the fountain. We do not like running water, really. And then we might just, you might find us sniffing your neck. But do not worry. This is Transylvanian custom. This is merely how we say hello. French people, they do the on the kiss on the cheeks. And in Transylvania, it is perfectly acceptable for someone to go sniff your neck. And if you have been eating garlic at the tavern, expect that tour guide to go...
Wow, it sounds just so welcoming. What a lovely, welcoming, wonderful place. It's so nice to get an insight into another culture, another place that we probably wouldn't have got if you hadn't sent me that letter made of ketchup. So thank you so much.
Can we expect your custom on one of our lovely tours around Transylvania?
I think so. I've got to check flight costs. How much is it? Is it sort of...
Oh, I can fly to you. Do not worry.
Wow, that's
we can
really
make it,
lovely.
I've got some very nice long leathery wings, and we can get you over there on a real cut price.
Fantastic.
Do not worry.
Well, I'll make sure I put some welcoming pumpkins in the window to let you know.
Ooh.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, sure.
Lovely. Well, hope
Watermelon. Go for a watermelon.
Watermelon, yes.
I think I'll be happier with a watermelon.
Perfect. Well, I feel like you've been so kind, letting me ask you the questions of the listeners. So welcoming, telling me all about where you're from. I think it is the least I can do is to have a friendly watermelon at the window and just hopefully see you soon.
We will be meeting very soon, Tiernan. And if, for any reason, I should turn up at your house, be sure to invite me in, and we can have a nice cup of tea and sit down, and I can show you many travel brochures.
I can't wait, and I'll have some fish and chips ready as well, and ketchup,
please.
and some cranberry juice. Tour Guide Dracula, it has been a delight. I'm assuming you've got many tours booked for today, so I don't want to keep you any longer. But I hope you have a lovely weekend. Have a fantastic Halloween.
And a happy Halloween to all of you listeners out there in Radio Land. Sleep tight.
Well, thanks.
This ghost is a rumor. A rumor is a tale, a vicious tale. That did it. I ain't going to no house where there's a ghost with a vicious tail. No.
Thanks so much to Tour Guide Dracula for joining the show for this Halloween special. What a lovely surprise that was. And also a big thanks to John Henry Falle, aka the Storybeast, who I found out later passed on my address to Tour Guide Dracula. So that was very nice of him. Oh, I do hope he visits. I really do. I hope Willow, Bella, Anonymous and Chrissy, you all enjoyed your answers. And if not, why not send any complaints to me in letters written with tomato ketchup, as then it'll all get ruined and make no sense. And I won't have to read them. Don't forget, if you have a question you need answered on this show, or you just want to send in anything at all, please ask your flapping cranky gargoyles to help you email me on podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk. And do come and say hello at one of our live Comedy Club for Kids shows, which you can find at comedyclubforkids.co.uk, and grab our t-shirts and books at comedyclubforkids.store. Okay. All right, I've had it. You've got to face your fears, haven't you? Which is why I once stared at a spider for ages, and then that didn't help because the spider stared back and then asked me what I was looking at and said if I didn't stop being rude, it'd bite my arm, and then I'm even more scared of spiders. Anyway, okay, I've got to face up to this, whatever this scary creature is. Come out, scary, terrifying creature. What do you want with me? Oh, hello. I just came to tell you your door is very creaky. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it is. Sorry, who are you? I'm just Colin. I go around on Halloween and tell people when their doors are too creaky so they don't get scared by the noise. Oh, that's really helpful. Thanks, Colin. What was that? This place must be haunted. I'm off. How weird. Well, I better get that door fixed so Colin doesn't come back next Halloween and terrify me again. What a weirdo. And now to do my spooky noises in order to spook you. No, not Halloween now. Stop farting, everyone. I don't know why I bother. Look, I hope all of you have a very fun half-term and a very silly Halloween. Colin, wait up. I'm going to join you. Creaky doors seem a lot less annoying than this lot. Bye. You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents. Radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense. It's the end.